Hello and welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us for Aqua Magazine's live webinar, What's Next in Pool Automation, an expert roundtable. We've got some experts with us today. Um, the subject is automation, which is evolving fast, and pool professionals need clarity on what's coming next, what really matters, and how to prepare without adding too much complexity to what you're doing. Today's discussion explores where automation is headed, how connected equipment and monitoring are shaping the next generation of pool operations, and what pool pros should be thinking about now to stay prepared for what's coming. Uh, this is a conversation first session with plenty of time for Q&A at the end. My name is Scott Webb. I'm editor of Aqua Magazine, and I'd like to introduce our guest today. First, and possibly foremost in my mind, is Rodney McCall. He is the automation product line leader at Pentair Pool. With hands-on experience spanning pool service, maintenance, and construction, Rodney brings a practical, field-informed perspective to automation strategy and product development. We have Adam Key. He is the product line leader for pumps and filters and works closely with pool professionals to help them understand, apply, and get the most value from Pentair pool equipment. He brings deep product knowledge and a strong understanding of pro workflows. And we have Donald Starnes, advanced product advisor at Pentair Pool, supporting pool professionals with hands-on expertise in automation systems, troubleshooting, configuration, and real-world applications. He works directly with pros in the field to help ensure successful installs and ongoing operation. So we've kind of got all bases covered. I guess I'll kick things off with a question for you, Rodney. I think you're better positioned to answer this than just about anyone I know, or to at least get us going. Where do you think pool automation is headed, and how are connected solutions influencing future workflows and service models?
Yeah, Scott. Thanks, and I want to thank you, Scott, for having us on today. We greatly appreciate it.
Always.
So, yeah, it's very interesting where automation has come, because it used to be, and I mentioned this on the podcast that we had a few weeks back, Scott. It used to be that automation was really driven by the fact that on pool spa combos, the automation of the intake and the return valve were the really the main driver for automating a swimming pool.
Yeah, you'd wake up in the morning after using a spa all night, and your pool's overflowing and your spa is drained.
Yeah, yeah. And automation solved that problem. I mean, and really, I would say, Donald, that was probably the original reason for automating swimming pools.
Definitely big one.
And that was the pool spa combo, the introduction of that. And Scott, since our last call, I reached out to builders and service companies in anticipation of this podcast and ran some data to understand what is really happening in automation. I was speaking with a service company earlier this week, and just last week, he wrote 3 quotes for automation on single body of water pools. These were all simple pools. They weren't pool spa combos. So I asked him why the customer wanted to automate the pool. And he said customers just want to control everything from their phone.
Yeah, like most people, everything in their house they want to control now, right? So you think about your thermostats and your lighting. I can even control my stove remotely now, and I can preheat my oven before I'm home. Like really everything now.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. For pools, it's mostly controlling the heater and the lights, but people want that same convenience they're getting from their phone.
Absolutely. And also the temperature.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they really want to know what the temperature of the
Yeah.
water is to understand if it's ready to swim or comfortable or not. So
Right.
All the time.
Right. If their pool is connected to automation, then they don't have to walk out the door pick up the rubber ducky out of the pool to check the water temp, it's right there. They can check their phone. And even when they're away from home, um, when they're away from the pool, they just want to check in on their system every once in a while and make sure that, everything is working. So I asked this service guy if he is offering automation to customers, or was this out of the blue customers asking him for automation? And he said both. So he is planting the seeds and talking to customers about automating their pools. And anytime he is doing any sort of repair, if the customer doesn't have automation, he is making a point to talk to them about it. And you guys probably know who I'm talking about. This is the same guy that sold more IntelliFlow pumps than anybody in the country. He is a salesperson and he is talking to customers about automation and getting sales. And this could be kind of like the IntelliFlow days when people they wanted it. They didn't even know about it in some cases, and it was just a matter of getting that information in front of the customer. I also notice in our automation numbers, the growth in single body of water pool system uh, sales, which also tells the same story. I'm seeing an increase in also in water features, which have become very popular, and automation allows remote control of those as well. So that gives you another good reason to automate the pool. You open your phone up and control the fountain. And
Yeah, so with the combination of, valve control and variable speed pumps, it gives the homeowner the ability to decide when they want a water feature on or off, but also how intense that water feature is. It's kind of like a high, medium, low type effect. And you're not limited to just on-off control.
exactly, we used to back in the day, we used to call like that volume control for your water feature, right? So you got that low, medium, high, and you can put that all in the app at a touch of a button and create even just scenes for the customers through the app. So another trend I see is the increase in short-term rentals. And if you have a short-term rental with a pool or spa, you get higher occupancy and you can increase your daily rate with that kind of offering. So if you're listening today and you're a service company and you're servicing short-term rentals, you should definitely be talking to those customers about automating the pool and taking advantage of what automation can offer.
Rodney, I never thought about the rental side. What are the benefits of automation for short-term rentals?
Yeah, so I found out there are rental properties who charge the customer extra for a heated pool versus a non-heated pool. And there are several options on how to do this. So if there's basic automation like an IF3 and the heater is tied into the one of the onboard relays, the owner can simply turn the heater on for the week right through the app. So that's more of a guest hands-off type approach. If there is an IntelliCenter on site, there are even more options. So one of them is that the owner can invite the customer to control the automation system and give that guest restricted access. So they can't control everything, but some of the stuff. So maybe you just, for example, want to give them access to the lights and to heat the spa, but not the pool. You can select that in the app, and I want to just go through some of the steps on how you would do that. So to do that, you go to the Pentair Pool app, go to Menu, Settings, Security, Security, enable Guest, and there you can choose there's a plus button in the top right-hand corner, yep, and actually set up a role with basically restricted, it's basically a restricted access profile. Some people set up the profiles and name the role according to the access they granted. So in this example, they would set up the role for lights and spa heat. And then they check the box. If they want to add more equipment control, they can check the box right next to whatever they want to control. So once that role is created, and you can create several roles, you could say one of them is spa heat, one of them is pool heat, just depending on the access you want to give. But once you create the role in security, then you go to settings and manage users and type the guest email right in there. And that guest, once you click send invite, you choose the access level in that menu, and you can choose spa heat, for example, in this example, and then you send an invite and they get an invitation, that guest. You send that invitation before they check into the rental, and they get an invitation to the Pentair Pool app. The other simple automation in this kind of scenario of control is just using the spa side remote as the guest controller. If there's an indoor control panel, you can actually give them the same access that we're talking about here to the indoor control panel and limit that access with a security code. So then a 4-digit PIN, then that customer enters that, and they have that.
You didn't trick me this time, by the way. Normally, when we run through this, I send you the actual invite and you mess around with my pool.
Not going to happen this time.
Hit the send button.
So speaking of messing around, this is also great if you have children.
Yep.
And you want to grant them a certain amount of
don't want them
access.
turning the heater
You don't
on,
want
like,
them, leaving the
messing
heater
with the
on.
heat. If you set it to 104, that's too hot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So Scott, I think this probably gives you a good bit of insight into what's going on in automation.
Yeah, thanks, Rodney. I as a frequent renter of Airbnbs, that's the sort of thing I would really want myself. It sounds like there's a definite growth in some interesting options for how short-term rentals can grant and control access to their renters so that they can enjoy the pool. Adam, not every pool needs full automation like IntelliCenter. Can you talk about what is a good starting point for simpler pool systems?
Absolutely. Thanks for the question, Scott. So IF3 is a great solution for simple pool pads that are looking for automation. At the just downright basics, it is a variable speed pump that is capable of connecting to the internet. It gives the homeowner or the service pro remote visibility to that pump. It gives you the ability to change settings remotely. So whereas before, you had to be out on the pool pad in order to change the speed or change the schedule of a pump, now you can do that on your cell phone from wherever you are. That is very simple automation. You could be on vacation, there's a storm at home, and you need to increase your filtration amount. Like, you can do that remotely through the app, giving you that increased peace of mind. So it's just really awesome for that. But also, the IntelliFlow 3 has built-in automation of other equipment. So now included in every pump, there are 2 relays that can control 2 other pieces of equipment on your pool pad. So we think about salt cells, heaters, color lights, all the basic things that your customers they're wanting to automate. You can do that right from the pump. It's not just on-off control for color lights. You can actually pick the color shows. That's a really cool thing that they're going to want. We talked about children and heaters. Current state, if kids have learned the patterns and they know how to go out in the heater and press the button and turn the heater on, they always forget to turn it back off, right?
Yeah.
So, you can get that runaway gas bill, but if you have it set up through IntelliFlow 3, if they want heat, they've got to call mom and dad. Mom and dad turn it on through the app. Mom and dad turn it off through the app as well. That button no longer becomes that fail point to leave it on. So it's pretty cool little built-in securities there as well.
Yeah. So, I was just thinking the other day, and I was thinking about when we launched IntelliFlow, And I think we've passed our 20-year anniversary with that product.
That's right. We have just passed our 20-year anniversary of IntelliFlow product and our third major generation of it. So I think it speaks volumes to that it's tried and true product. A lot of efforts are going into designing it and making sure that it is a product. I think the industry has proven that it is a great product as well. So we're very, very proud of that. And you're right, over 20 years now.
It's amazing. And I
Yeah,
think some of them are still like a lot of those original ones are still humming along in the field.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
pretty amazing introduction there.
Yeah, you had a lot to do with that original IntelliFlow.
I talked a lot about IntelliFlow in the day. Yes.
What do you see most often in the field with these connected pools?
Mm, yeah, I see a lot of folks, they're almost overwhelmed by the automation and all it can do. And it leads to a lot of overthinking sometimes, maybe a little frustration because they don't know where to start. While our automations are very versatile and have capability to do so many things, they're really quite simple to understand once you get into them. And I just like to break it down for folks into its most basic function, right? To help with the overwhelming amount of things that this thing can do. Its main purpose is to control pumps, filtration pumps, right? Intake and return valves if you're on a pull spa combo there. Um, I'm sorry, turn on lights and provide a thermostat to turn heaters off and on. And that's how basic it is. And I think the overwhelming part is just where to start, right? So I just kind of wanted to go over real quick on this panel what a basic system looks like and how we're going to program it in just a couple of minutes here, how easy it is to navigate. Doing a most common pull spa combo. It's got a variable speed pump on it, maybe a couple lights in the pool, light in the spa, and the gas heater. And so I'm just gonna take you through real quick on how to program this, just for the folks who haven't done it before or may have been reluctant to do it because maybe they let me grab the mic here. Um, maybe they just looked at it and said, "Hey, that's too much for me there." All right. Good thumbs up, Sam. Good deal. All right. So anytime, this is a fresh system here. It's a pull spa combo. That's why I see the spa card there. I go into settings. I scroll all the way down to advanced system configuration. And that's where most folks are going to live when we're programming a system is under advanced system config. We're going to start with installation setup. And in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and start with circuits. We've got two types of circuits there. Auxiliary circuits are what we use for our physical relays, the things that turn things off and on. Feature circuits are what we call virtual circuits. So I've got a variable speed pump and maybe I've got jets in the spa and I want my pump to ramp up to medium or high, or as Adam was speaking about the water features, low, medium, high water features. That's what my feature circuits are for. So I don't burn a relay circuit. I'm just telling my pump virtually to bump up in speed. But we're going to do aux circuits here. You see pull and spa is already there, so I'm going to go straight to aux 1. On my system, my aux 1 is actually going to be my spa light. So you can scroll all the way down here where we've got all of our pre-recorded names, and I'm going to select spa light for aux 1. Okay. Circuit function, that is the logic within that relay. Okay. If it's just a generic circuit that turns off and on, then I just leave it generic. There's no special functionality to it, no logic needed. But let's say this is an IntelliBright color light. So I'm going to tell the system that the circuit function is IntelliBright. So that way my system knows the logic of how many clicks to give my light to turn it to specific colors. It's got a special function to it. And for my lights, especially spa light that kids can leave on forever, I'm going to just give it a 4-hour egg timer so that way it turns off if I forget to turn it off. That's how I labeled my first circuit. Now I can go to aux 2 and I'm going to say that this is my pool lights. And let's say I don't have the name, pre-recorded name in there. I can just do my own custom name here, nice and easy with this keypad. I'm just going to label it pool light. Let me give it light like that. Ooh, pool light. I can speak and I can see. Your camera's in my way. Sorry. All right, backspace, that was me. All right, check. So I gave it a custom name, that quick and easy, generic. This is also an IntelliBrite for my pool lights. I'm gonna select that. I'm gonna leave it as 12-hour egg timer there. And then the last thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and actually program in one of these feature circuits. See, it's a feature circuit. Now remember, feature circuits are for if I wanted to ramp up my pump or maybe turn one of my valve actuators, my auxiliary valve actuators. This one I'm going to call Jets High. So that way, when I press this button, my pump ramps up when I'm in spa mode and kicks a lot more water through my jets for me. And I will give that, since it's jets, I'm going to give that maybe a 1-hour egg timer. And make it visible in features. And I'll show you what that is there. So that's me programming my system for circuit names. Now I need to add my pump. You'll notice here on version 3008, it was a California rule that made us preload a variable speed pump and also the schedule. I'm not using a VS pump in this application, so I'm going to select that pump. Oops, sorry. I'm going to select the trash can. I'm going to delete that pump, and I'm just going to add another pump. I have a VSF pump. If you're using an IF3, that's also a variable speed flow, so it's a VSF as well. I go to speed and flows. I'm going to add a circuit. Let's say in this case it's pool. I can set RPM or GPM. I like to use RPM personally. And I'm going to set my pool filtration speed for 1750. Add another circuit. Let's go to SPA. I'm going to let my SPA be, I think I'll just run that at 1750 as well for regular filtration. I'm going to add my jet high circuit in there. So when I'm in the SPA and I want my jets to kick up, I'm going to kick it up to 2450. How about that? And let's say one more speed. That's for my heater. Because my heater needs a little bit, actually it needs at least 40 gallons per minute for 400,000 BTU master temp. So I'm going to say I've got a 400,000 BTU and I'm going to give it 2250 for my heater when my heater turns on as well. Now I've programmed my pump and all of the speeds for each circuit that I wanted for my pump. If I had more than one pump, more than one just a filtration pump, let's say I had a feature pump, I just add another pump. It's a VSF. I tell it that this one is pump address number 2. At the pump, you go to the pump as standalone and you tell that on the pump that it's pump number 2. And then you just label your speeds for that second pump. Our standard site does not have that, but I did want to show you how easy it is to add more than one unit. Now we go to heater. Add heater. Now I actually physically have a master temp. That's the unit I have, but whether I select gas or master temp depends on how I wire the heater from the heater to my panel. If I wire it from the fireman switch that a lot of folks are used to, fireman switch on the heater to my panel here, then I have to select gas. Even if it's a master temp, I have to select gas. If I'm wiring it via the RS485 connection, that red, yellow, green, black wire that we use for communication, then that's when I label it as master temp. The benefit of labeling it master temp and wiring it from RS485 is that I'm digitally sending and receiving commands from my heater. So I can tell the heater to turn off and on. And if my heater ever has an error code because maybe there was a blockage in the system and so it sent a stack flue sensor off, the automation will be able to know that because the heater is going to tell it digitally that you've got a stack flue sensor error. So that's the benefits of doing RS485 connection via or versus the fireman switch. Thanks, Rodney. Yep. I need some assists there. I also like to give my heaters a cool down cycle. I always do that just to kind of prolong my heat exchanger. That just means that when the heater's done firing, my pump will continue to run for whatever I set this for. I've got a 400, so I'm going to give it a good 5 minutes to cycle the water through that exchanger and kind of cool it off a little bit. Now I programmed my circuits, my pump, my heater. And that's it. If I go to feature circuits, you'll see my jets highs there. I can turn that off or on. And that would ramp the speed of my pump up and down. If I go to my lights, you'll see the 2 lights that I have here. If I wanted to change colors, I go into that. I have light shows that are already loaded shows, or I have specific colors. I really like that royal blue we have. I'm going to select that. And that's it, folks. That's how easy it is to control a basic system. So we'll go back to the round table here. Oop.
Change the code.
Rodney, we talked a lot about remote monitoring in our last webinar and how those service companies are using remote monitoring with IntelliCenter. And I remember there was some talk about the ability to monitor IF3.
Yeah, we did talk a lot about with remote monitoring with those fellows. I'm going to let Adam speak to IF3 as far as remote monitoring goes.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that. So yeah, I think most people are aware about the ability to remotely monitor pools through automation systems. It's becoming fairly normal now. But what I think a lot of people are not aware of is that with IntelliFlow 3, because it's a connected product, you have the same ability to remotely monitor the pump and the automation system that is the pump. So using our Pentair Pro app and either the mobile format or the web app format, you can monitor your customers' pools. So they have IF3. You can see the pump status. You can change the schedules. You can change the settings. So if a customer calls you and they're not happy with something, it may be as simple as, that someone changed the schedule or changed the setting, and you can fix that from your office or from your phone when you're out on another job site. You don't have to necessarily take the time to go out to that customer's site to troubleshoot, save that truck roll, make yourself more efficient. Um, you could also see if there was like a pressure limit alarm or something like that going off where maybe the filter has become loaded up and the pump's working harder than it needs to. It's an indicator that it's time to clean the filter. So instead of being reactive to that, you could be more proactive in scheduling that and taking care of that customer before they complain about something. And it kind of gives you the option to be the hero for them.
Yeah, and even catch things before there's an issue. Like if there is a flow issue, that sometimes will lead to a green pool or the heater not working and that kind of thing, and you can head that off to pass. So
No
that's
big surprise either, right? The customer, you're not waiting for the customer to call you on that Friday, Saturday saying, hey, something's wrong.
Yeah.
yeah, I've got to pull
Take
this
take advantage of it
apart this
on a
weekend.
Wednesday afternoon instead of them calling you on Friday night,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yep. Good deal.
Rodney, earlier you talked about the growth in automation and specifically some of the data that you were seeing as far as growth in automation on single body of water pools. Donald, are you seeing that out in California?
No,
Okay.
no, California's too fancy to have all those single. No, we definitely have those old rusty timer boxes, right? That are ready for upgrades, and a lot of old copper plumbing and whatnot. Even before the pool and spa combos automation came out, so yeah, we do have plenty of those that are just dying to have Pentair product on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, service companies, I think, have always been good at replacing equipment when it breaks.
Yeah.
And we've dubbed those as moments that matter, right? And I think they are missing out if they aren't talking about upgrading the automation system at that time. Another good opportunity is when people have purchased a home with a pool. They may be new pool owners, never experienced that, and looking to upgrade the equipment. And what better time to automate the equipment pad and make their life easier than that new pool owner. And a lot of times they are looking to, because they've bought a new home, they're looking to do that kind of upgrade. Maybe it's a younger person that's moved in the home that is more interested in that smartphone control and that kind of thing.
Looking for elderly folks, right? I mean, the
Hey, easy with us, all elderly folks now.
done talking, Rodney.
Um,
I mean, there's a convenience
Yes.
all around. All around, there's a convenience.
Absolutely.
And so yeah. And personally, those old rusty boxes that I've seen on site, they they look like they need a safety code update too sometimes, right? I mean, so yeah, there's a safety aspect I see sometimes.
Yeah, and so for that new pool owner, having having that control from their phone, they could feel less intimidated. They have more control. They control things with just the touch of a button, and it takes away that scary feeling that I'm gonna mess something up.
Yeah.
So, Donald, when you think about a service guy passing over an automation system to a new pool owner, uh, what do you what do you think they should be focusing on?
Well, just like I showed you up there, how basic systems are set up, I like to concentrate on the basics for a homeowner, right? Looking at a full plumbing setup and stuff could be really overwhelming. You don't know where to start with, where the flow is. So I start with the basics, right? The filtration pump. I'm going to talk about that. Filter maintenance, right? Depending on what kind of filter they have, what you're going to need there. I might go over the lights with them and or the heater and the thermostat function and stuff, but definitely filter pump and filter uh, keeps it really basic for them and won't overwhelm them.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of just, here's how you turn it on, turn it off, schedules, basics.
Don't over.
Yeah, don't overcomplicate it. Yeah. Um, so I think uh, I think we want to make sure we have some time for the questions. So I might just as we wrap up kind of our piece of this, I'd like to make mention of a few takeaways that I would say a service company that's listening today, Scott, would want to make sure that they're thinking about.
I want to throw something in there that I kind of missed over here, um, and it's the fact that we again, I don't want anybody to overthink this. Um, Knowledge, even just a little bit of knowledge, is going to go a long way with this, right? Um, we've dedicated a lot of resources at Pentair, especially this year, into making sure that our servicers or builders or installers that they all have that knowledge available to them to learn the Pentair product, whether it's online with the online modules. We've got a whole team dedicated to creating learning modules, not just for installers, but maybe even your employees that come in and stuff like that. You can learn at your own time, on your own time, but I'm a DIYer. I don't know if you DIY too, but I'm a DIYer and I've learned so much from online and I could fix a car. I'd learn how to build cabinets. Um, I fixed I fixed the dishwasher the other day, right? So we've given you all those kind of tools also, right? And I love the people for posting those things and giving me the knowledge and the confidence to know that I could succeed and saving maybe some cash and fixing it without being so frustrated, right? But that's what we've dedicated for our pool professionals, right? All the resources of online training. These modules are not just, hey, play and listen. They're actual interactive modules that teach you all the circuitry on the board, whether it's heaters, heat pumps, automation, IF3s, how to get online, how to wire. We've got everything in there for you at our Pentair Dealer website, the university. Um, and aside from that, we hold our annual universities for your in-person learning. If you can't make those, we've also invested a ton. We've already got 8 throughout the country. I think we're dedicated to 5 more, I believe, 5 more centers of excellence is what we call them. These are training facilities that we're popping up in local areas and states, in different states, that will allow us to host personal one-on-ones, maybe even you bring in your whole group, but personal training seminars for you, um, at your schedule. It doesn't have to be that annual. So we've invested a lot of time, a lot of money. We've got a great team of minds that are putting this content together so that way you all learn and so that way you guys can all succeed. In addition, we've added field support, right? Geographical or localized phone support for you. We've added multiple field product advisors, right? Those are folks that you can call in your local territory, and they'll be there to either schedule the trainings at our centers of excellence or maybe even show up on some of your own, your first installs. So that way you have confidence that you've got somebody there. But listen, we're here to help. Give us a call if you need us. And because when you succeed, we succeed.
Right.
So I just wanted
Yeah.
to touch base on that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Well,
excellent.
that's a great point, Donald. There's a lot of resources out there, and if you just reach out a little bit, you can really access a lot of expertise, in your job. Uh, Wanted to get to some questions before we wrap things up at the end. I don't think we'll get to all of these, but we'll get to some of them. And let's start with a question from Jeff Hughes, who asks, is there a way to lock the client out from changing speeds or flow rates after you've set it up?
Why are you looking at me? I told you I'm not talking anymore. It's actually what Rodney was kind of going over as far as the guest access. And so there are things in there that you can lock out, right? And it's when I set up a guest access and whatever they have accessibility to, they're going to get a 4-digit PIN, right? I'm going to give again, maybe it's the keys, maybe it's the client that I want to have the 4-digit PIN, but I'm going to send them guest, um, not administrative accesses, but the guest access, and I'm only going to select certain things. Configuration of the pump will obviously be unchecked in this particular person's scenario there.
Jeff. Yeah.
Jeff.
Yep.
And even on IF3, there is ability to do that. I do caution you though, right? I mean, this equipment belongs to the homeowner, right? It is their equipment, but you do have the ability to assign a security pin, such that without having that pin, they do not have the ability to change any of the settings. They can see the status, but they can't change any of the settings. So if it's something that you are concerned about, there is the ability to have that level of security.
Excellent.
Good deal.
Is IntelliFlow 3 the right option for pump plus heater control?
It certainly is. If all you're looking for is some basic automation to have a couple of pieces of equipment like a heater, it has that ability and is a great solution that does not require additional hardware installed. The pump by itself can do that.
I want to make sure we clarify. It's not going to give you a thermostat on the app for the heater, right? We don't have a water sensor or a thermostat on it, but you can definitely set a temp on the heater and turn it off and on with our onboard relays. So
So it'll
I
basically
just wanted to
heat the
clarify.
pool to
Yeah.
the water temperature that is set on the heater itself, the dashboard of the heater
Yeah.
itself.
It's giving the heater permission to fire if the water is below the set point.
Yeah.
If the heater sees that the water is above the set point, then it will not fire.
So the advantage you have of moving up to automation is that the automation panel has, or the automation system has a water temp sensor. So it's monitoring water temperature, and then you can set the water temperature from your app. So you could you basically set the heater up to the maximum amount that it's capable of, or sometimes tell people set the heater dashboard to the maximum that you would ever want to heat that pool
So
to.
just by the automation, the pump and the heater, and you're
Yes.
set.
Yep.
Instead of just pump and heater. No,
Right. Well,
I'm
yeah.
trying to sell now, Rodney.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
I love this question. Does homeowner control increase callbacks?
Ask the guy who asked about the locking out the pump speeds.
Jeff Hughes.
I don't think so. I think a lot of us may gripe about that, but I think homeowner control, if we're giving them the right direction before we leave and hand over the keys, I think the homeowner having control is actually is a good thing, right? But we have to educate them at least a little bit on the basics. We can't just say, here you go, press this button to turn it off and on, because we're gonna start going into fiddle around with certain things too, because it's my shiny new toy. So I think proper education before you leave, I don't think it creates callbacks.
I think we have a really unique thing with IntelliCenter, that so once you finish programming in IntelliCenter, you can take a USB, a little thumb drive, and place it inside on the USB port, and then you can download that configuration. So that callback, you may get the callback and you may have to go back out to that customer. But if you've got your original configuration that you set up and they have gone in and messed up the what you programmed, you can certainly put that thumb drive back in and download the original configuration instead of having to erase everything and start over. So I think we have a unique way to kind of help the service guy or
Well, I'll even add to that. If you're remotely monitoring that pool pad, you can fix it remotely.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go on site with your thumb
And then you
drive.
can lock them out. All right.
This question comes from Jeff Camilleri. Does the system, can you control 2 heaters?
2 gas heaters? No, not yet. On the
Okay.
IntelliCenter, we are working on heater groups, and we might be some months away from that. It's definitely going to happen. Right now, you can't do 2 gas heaters. However, you can do a gas heater and a heat pump, or a gas heater and solar. So you can do multiple heat sources, but you can't do 2 gas heaters. Unless you're on an I-10 dual body system. That means you've got a separate filter pump and filter and heater for pool, and then another one for your other body. That's the only way you can do 2 gas heaters, is if you have that dual body system.
Gotcha. This is a good, very practical question. Is it better to program before arrival or during the install?
I think best practice, if you guys agree with me, best practice is on site. If I'm programming something, I want to make sure that it's actually working. Now, if I'm in 114-degree weather, obviously I want to program in the shade, but that's where I can get my Wi-Fi set up. I can get it on my phone, and I can actually program it from my phone while I'm sitting under, in the shade, or even from the truck. But my actual answer is best practice would be on site in front of the equipment, so I know that whatever I'm programming is turning off and on and working as it should, before I get there.
And I think if you can train your electrician to wire, if you're using the same electrician on most jobs, most of your pools are very similar, and they get into the habit of putting the pool light on relay 1 and the spa light on relay 2. Then you can carry a configuration from your previous pool with the USB to the next pool, download that configuration, and then just go in and do a little.
Oh yeah, we've got in especially out in the desert,
customization.
out in Palm Springs area, we've got these cookie cutter jobs where there's 100 pools in one little section, and they're all cookie cutter. I mean, they're the same exact thing. So I program one, and then just
Take it.
copy paste. Scott,
What are the best first steps for new builders as it relates to adopting connected pool technology?
The best first steps. Scott, I would say listen to our podcast that we did. That last podcast, I went through a lot of the steps on what you should be thinking about as far as choosing the right system, um, understanding what's going on in the pool, making sure you're choosing the right system for the right amount of relays that you might need, and really understanding what the customer's expectations are. It could be if you have a simple pool, maybe all you need is IF3. But maybe the customer does want to remotely monitor their water temperature and control that remotely, and set different temperatures. They might go up. So I think really understanding from the customer their expectations, and those are kind of some of the first things I would check on.
And also, if I remember correctly, some of the topics from the last one were really around understanding some of your Wi-Fi limitations before you're installing, right? So before you've even done the construction process or you're installing the equipment, if you already know that it's in the back corner of the yard and there's there's not going to be a strong Wi-Fi signal, you need to plan on building out a solution such that you can actually have internet access at that pool pad.
It should be. I mean, again, it's been over 20 years since we first started connecting to internet, right, with the first screen logic. So uh, just like you go into a backyard and you look at the gas meter and how long that run's going to be to get a gas line to the equipment pad, or how long of electrical run from the light to the, for your light pole. Internet connectivity, whether you're going to do it wirelessly, use our 900 megahertz kit, or wire all the way to the to the pad, do a home run on that. That should be part of your your specs now. I mean, it should just be second nature at this point.
We've got time for one more audience question, and then we're going to have a couple poll questions that we'd like everyone to register an answer to, and I'll read those when we're done. And then we'll kind of wrap things up with some takeaways. So, last of the questions, this comes from Teodulo Diaz Gomez, who asked simply, is there a number to call when we're in the field where we can get professional advice? Is there like a hotline or something like that when we're in the field?
Call Rodney.
Call Rodney. Okay.
Oh, you said professional. Call Adam.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do. We have a great technical support helpline, and that's 800-831-7133.
Okay.
And they're happy to help you out. And we have plenty of field techs in the field that would be happy to go out on a job site. If this is your first time installing automation, they'd be happy to go out on the job site with you to walk you through that.
Yeah. Not to mention our new localized phone support as well, right? So
And the learning tools that we have. I think it's we
Yeah.
have that option as well.
there's a lot of support out there. But yeah, that 800 number, 831-7133, that's your base number.
Yeah. Got it. All right. I think we're ready for our first poll question. How confident are you in selling and installing automation? Just fire off your answers right there on your screen. Not confident at all, slightly confident, neutral, somewhat confident, or very confident. And we'll take a second for everyone to register their vote here, and then we will take a look at those answers live, just to get an idea of who's listening to that.
I'm always nervous.
Oh, panelists can't vote, so you guys just chill out for a bit. Rodney, would you care to comment on those results that you're seeing right there?
Oh, we got to bring that up on the screen here real quick.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I cannot see the results.
We had over 52% of our audience say that they're very confident. So I think these are some experienced pros here.
Excellent.
And it goes all the way down to 19% that feel slightly confident, who are learning and still, sort of sharpening their skills.
So those 19%, I'm happy that you guys joined the call today, and the 52%. Hopefully, you may have attended some of our classes to build your confidence.
The only way they got the confidence,
or watching the YouTube videos, like you mentioned.
But definitely that. So on these polls, Scott, that we're going to be able to reach out to these 19%, right, and see what we can do to make them confident.
Yes,
that'd be great.
And that leads to our second poll question, which will be appearing on your screen. Would you like a representative from Pentair to contact you? Just a simple yes, please contact me, or no, not at this time. And if you elect to be contacted, we'll get a hold of you.
Well, Scott, as that poll is going on, I might just take a minute to wrap things up with a few takeaways, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So what I got from this is one of the things is talk to your customers about automating their pool if the pool isn't automated. If you watched our previous podcast, you heard a lot about service companies who are using remote monitoring to make their jobs easier and provide better customer service, which increases customer retention and increases your service company's efficiency using that know before you go and remotely monitoring that pool. Secondly, I think when you're replacing equipment, that is a perfect time to talk to the pool owner about upgrading the system with automation. They're spending some money on the pool. They may not have ever heard of automation, may not know anything about it, and that's an awesome time to talk to them about that. So when you do talk to the customer, here's some key points to talk about, and I'll just say talk about how it makes owning the pool easier. You're giving them the touch of a button. You're giving that owner the ability to control and customize their pool experience, especially if they have water features. Instead of having to walk out and turn a valve, they can do all that control through the app with the touch of a button, and it just makes it so much easier. And we talk about there are a lot of customers just want that peace of mind. So the peace of mind of being able to look at an app and see that everything's going okay with the pool. I think finally, uh, we have talked a lot about with variable speed, the energy efficiency, but you're really not, I don't think you can get the full benefit of variable speed technology unless you have automation. And so you're setting up long filtration schedules at really low speeds, and that's going to save a lot of money. And then you have that extra flow with automation when, as Donald was talking about, he set up a custom speed for the heater, and that heater fires, pump ramps up. It's giving you that extra flow that is there when you need it.
And back to our online tools, right? We have a tool online that's an energy efficient calculator, right? That shows you the difference between your current pump and whatever our IntelliFlow variable speed pumps will give you, right? And the cost savings that are involved in that.
No, that's right. There's a calculator there that will allow you to enter some basic information, and it'll tell you, how much that pool will see in yearly savings moving from an old single speed pump to a variable speed pump. So I think it's really important. Roddy talked about moments that matter. When pumps fail, a new pump is needed. All right. With the energy laws changing, you pretty much have to go to a variable speed pump right now. So it's a moment that matters. The homeowners need a replacement. They're going to want something that's going to save them money on their power bill, and they want automation. So this is the perfect chance to talk to them about IntelliFlow 3 as an automation solution, or also upgrading to something like IntelliCenter when they want more than what automation i3 can provide.
Yeah. So I encourage you as a service company, if we have some service companies listening today, definitely talk to your customers. It is an opportunity for you to bring some more revenue in. It's an opportunity to make your business more efficient. And I do want to say for those people listening today that are using Pentair, we greatly appreciate your business. We are here to support you when you need it, and just make sure you're taking advantage of all the opportunities to educate yourself before you go to the job site. And we've got some more of those educational opportunities coming your way. So, and Scott, thank you so much for putting this together for us and having us on today.
It was my pleasure. You guys are a lot of fun to work with. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot from you guys today. Let me just make sure to remind everyone of the next webinar in our series, which will be Wednesday, May 6th at 2 p.m. And I want to thank everyone for coming to the webinar. I know everyone's got a lot left to do today. So let's get back to the pool business, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.